For generations, the Jedi Order have been guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy. Now, it's time to face your Jedi Temple Challenge!
Welcome back to Live Action Star Wars. My name is James.
I'm Ralph.
And today we are talking about Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge, which is available on the YouTube Kids, Star Wars Kids YouTube channel, I believe.
Right. I believe it came out during the pandemic.
Yeah, it was debuted June 10th, 2020, last year.
Now, you mentioned in our last episode that this was a blind spot. You haven't watched this.
I'd seen the trailer, and a friend of mine had watched all of it and said that it was the most charming thing in the world. But I hadn't seen any of it.
Right. I feel like it's not made for our age demographic at all.
Definitely not.
But I find it totally enjoyable.
It's fun. It's really fun.
I watched, I don't know how many, there's 10 episodes total. For the show, we watched 3, and these were 3 that I had already seen.
Yeah, of course.
And I kind of kept wanting to watch them after I was done with the 3.
So easy to just have on. I can't say that like I was fully engrossed and engaged with every last little thing the whole time, right. But I would happily have this on. I was chatting to my girlfriend the other day when I was talking about what we were doing for this week's episode, and I showed her the trailer, and she was like, "That looks awesome! I want to watch that." And she doesn't really care about Star Wars; she's watched it all, but it's not her thing. And so I might end up watching more of it tonight.
Right? It's not, and the thing is, it's like you don't need to know about Star Wars.
You really don't.
All of the questions and sort of trivia in the show. So the second stuff that you learn from that show, from the episode. So you don't have to go in having Star Wars knowledge. And it's just, I mean, like, I grew up in the 80s, and I had shows like on Nickelodeon shows, like Double Dare, Finders Keepers, Nick Arcade, TV's Funhouse. Yeah. And there was a show called
Legends of the Hidden Temple, right?
Legends of the Hidden Temple, which was past I think I stopped watching around the time of Guts.
Yeah, so Guts and Legends of the Hidden Temple, when Nickelodeon launched in the UK, we had quite a lot of the American programming. It was basically just reruns of everything that you guys had. So those first couple of years, we had Guts and Legends of the Hidden Temple, and I'd seen them from being on vacation and stuff. Like, it was always that whole, oh, wow, we get to watch this when we're on vacation. And so when we got a few seasons of that, or I don't know how long, a couple of years worth of that over here, I ate that up. There's the first one. And so, yeah, I loved it. It was really good. I was the perfect age for those. I knew of Double Dare and things like that growing up since. But yeah, this is exactly that. Like, I mean, it's one of those shows.
Right. I was getting a little too old for Guts. Yeah. But I would watch Guts because I was getting the right age to enjoy the referee Mo.
Yep.
And for me, as like a young teen, like the British accent was like exotic, and I liked it. Yeah,
of course. Well, and you grew up watching a lot of like British TV as well, hadn't you? Like, you've mentioned, I think, in the past,
like Benny Hill.
Yeah, like Benny Hill and stuff. So you've got that bit of novelty with it.
Yeah, but I never liked Danger Mouse. I didn't like Duckula. I thought they were kind of weird. Yeah. But this show is clearly taking from the Hidden Temple. What is it called?
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that was what it's called.
And this is called Jedi Temple Challenge. Like, it's almost right there.
And I want to say exactly the creators. What it is.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just perfectly that. Yeah. Like, I feel like
it's not trying to be anything more than that. It is completely earnest, and it's doing what it's doing, which is a kids challenge show really well.
I think what I like about it the most is it's not trying to go beyond those Nickelodeon shows. Like, these are definitely sets.
Oh yeah.
And granted, it's Star Wars, and you kind of associated Star Wars with like high budget and big concepts and big special effects. But I like the fact that I don't know if this was just purely because of budget or whatever the reason is, it still looks like a 90s television show.
It really does. Like, you've got the foam pit, you've got the soft walls, you've got all of the, like, even the when he's levitating the rocks, it's just like an air pump thing with a ball. It's like it's the same stuff that you would see anywhere, like at a theme park or something like that. And it's great for that reason. Right.
And I feel like a lot of the props come from Galaxy's Edge. A lot of the the Star Wars specific props.
Yes. I was doing some reading about it, and like the lightsaber hilts. So the host of the show is Jedi Master Kelleran Beq, brilliantly by Ahmed Best. We will talk about Ahmed Best more. But Jedi Master Beq, his lightsaber is all constructed from stuff that you can get at Galaxy's Edge.
Yes, except there's an added bit where he has like a cloth wrapped around. Oh,
is that not one of the
available? In the lightsaber design itself, it has like what looks like a like a leather band, fabric, but it's made of a like a rubber foam.
Oh, okay.
So they
all of those lightsaber bits, they're also from the video game from a couple of years ago, the Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order. Like, you can customize your lightsabers in that. Like, with
I have a note about
pieces.
I don't have much to say about Jedi Fallen Order, but I had to look up the music. Gordy Haab, Haab, did the music for the show. Also did Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Battlefront 2 Squadrons. So he's Star Wars.
In that with the gaming side of it, even this is kind of in that same sphere. A lot of the sound design as well apparently is taken from old like game properties. So even like the droid sounds are things that were originally developed by LucasArts for various video games.
Oh, cool.
They've just co-opted them and just be like, cool, we're not using that asset anymore. It's not been heard for 10 years. So
I heard there's a ton of sort of Easter eggs like that.
Yeah.
The guys who made the show are Star Wars fans, and obviously they just dug deep into what they can get. It feels so I don't want to say like cobbled together, but it definitely feels, I don't want to say cobbled together, but I feel like they're taking all the resources that are inexpensive at their disposal and bringing
it's sort of everyone in-house already and using them to their strength. So the second challenge is they always have the story that is told, and the kids have to memorize details and stuff. All of those stories were written by the author Cavan Scott, who is he does some of the comics. He's doing some of the High Republic books. I literally just finished his latest novel last week, which is the second novel in the High Republic, and it's excellent. And so when I saw his name pop up in the end of the first credits, I was like, oh my God, it's Cavan Scott. This guy's amazing. And then all those stories, and apparently like there's a lot of Easter eggs in there from other works that he's done.
And they got like Sam Witwer
and things like. Yep, Sam Witwer does the voice of the dark side. Frank Oz reprises Yoda.
Yeah,
like, all of these guys are in house basically already. Like, Frank Oz is a good get because other people have played Yoda in the past, but to get Frank to do it is amazing. I love that.
Probably had him read a couple of lines, maybe a few paragraphs during maybe a looping session for Last Jedi or something. And
well, that's what I was thinking about Cavan Scott. It's like, I know that the High Republic, the Project Luminous like writers group, they all spent, I think it was like a month up at the ranch when they were sort of breaking the story for that. So the timing works that they probably said, hey, if one of you guys got like an hour to throw out 10 short like stories,
super detailed descriptive stories.
Just go hard with the details, but like they don't need to make a lot of sense. They don't need to be deep story. There's not much lore. But I mean, even in that, you've got things like Jackson from the old Marvel comics back when.
That's the thing I alluded to last episode that I'm like, you're going to love this. I never read them. I never read the Marvel comics.
I never read the old ones, but I know of.
I'm super like aware of them, especially Jackson.
Yeah, of course, everyone knows Jackson.
On Twitter, just like trying to tag Lord and Miller like put Jackson and Solo somewhere, please. If Jackson's going to be anywhere, this is the movie.
He would have been in the background of that, definitely. Yeah.
So fingers crossed for the Lando series. I need Jackson. I need Jackson to be canon.
That's a great shout. I think one of his species has popped up in a comic book, I believe.
And in Clone Wars, there's a skeleton. It's either I believe it's Clone Wars. There's a skeleton of Jackson in this like city streets. I don't like that he's dead, but it's definitely wearing the Jackson outfit and the skeleton.
But is that like how a lot of Rhodians dress like Greedo? Is that it doesn't need to be Jackson? It could just
here's the thing that's funny is no one's used Jackson since like 1980, 1981.
No, not in anything canon anyway.
And so, like, to make him dead after so many years in the episode of Clone Wars, I think is okay. Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
He doesn't. I mean, the timelines all changed, so maybe Jackson was a prequel era character.
Right. I mean, like
maybe he's going to pop up in the High Republic.
I want to say they just released a Black Series Jackson figure.
Or there was a new Jackson toy recently.
Put him in a movie. I mean, Solo, like
in the background
at the sabacc table.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I mean, right now I'm like excited that I could see it. I'm in that other reality and I could see it.
Yeah,
and it's making me so happy.
Or like watching the droid fight or something like that, just in the background, like
right.
So you can only sort of see him through like 2 layers of cage fight and stuff like that. But something,
right?
You could put him in there. So talk about the creators. You have some connection to one of the creators of the show, I believe. Is that right?
No, I just know that one of the creators is Scott Bromley, who is essentially the director of the Star Wars show, and he's also the voice and lips of the Yoda fountain.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So he's the co-creator of the show. He got
Steve Blank.
Yes, who I'm not familiar with.
Me neither.
I'm not familiar with, but it was fun around the time of the show starting to show up on YouTube. He was posting stuff about how they cobbled stuff together. So, like, if you look at the one of the things I remember is the Sith sort of Wayfinder triangle shaped thing.
Yeah, the almost holocron-ish.
Yeah, there's 3 little trinkets on top of it, and he posted a picture of that, and then a picture of the Amazon page of those little things, and they're literally door stoppers. Like on your door that you put on the wall on the ground. It's 3 of those just placed there. So I'm like, that's awesome because it just shows how like kit bashed it is. Like it's like cobbled
kit bashed
together.
Is the way to put it. Yeah. Like cobbled together, I think almost sounds negative. It sounds like they just went cheap. Whereas kit bashed is like, no. You can make. I mean, hell, all the Death Star and the Star Destroyers and stuff in the original movies were kit bashed. So. Like
the only reason I know the term kit bashed, I think, is from Star Wars: The Jedi, the documentary. I think they mentioned kit bashed.
I'm sure they do. Like they definitely, it's definitely where I heard the term first.
Right.
It's good, and because of all of that, but it doesn't look cheap. Like it looks like what it is, but it doesn't look cheap. So that the first challenge where the obstacle course one, where they've got the 3 challenges there, that looks like a really fun set to run around on.
Right.
Like it's the sort of thing that you put that. I mean, and they've sort of said originally like the show was a spin-off and loosely connected to the live action stuff that they would do at Disneyland. Where they would train kids to be Jedi and give them a lightsaber at the end of it. And it's loosely connected to that and basically just extrapolated on it. It's like it's taking the 10-15 minute stage show where they'd pull kids out of the crowd and making a 22-minute episode for YouTube.
Yeah,
and it's like great, perfect.
I like the format too because it is broken up into 3 sections.
Yep,
and they're all completely different. Like the first one's physical based, the second one's memory based, and the third one is kind of a mixture of both.
Yeah, it's your final thing. It's
and it's nice
we
that
had
it
Crystal Maze over here. It was a similar sort of thing, but like that was more adults, teams running around doing obstacle course.
Yeah, but this is I mean, the way it's set up, it just flies. It goes.
Yeah.
It's like and what is great is Ahmed Best and Mary Holland.
Mary Holland, yeah.
Are so good. And I don't think she's wearing the outfit.
No,
which is hard, which I don't know because it looks like she's talking.
It's done really well. It was. I'm guessing all of her stuff comes later, and it's all sort of overdubbed, possibly, or maybe they've got it loosely written, or she's on set reading or something. But the person in the suit is Michael McAster, who is UCB. He's a UCB trained actor. Okay. And Gordon Tarpley does the Astromech Droid. But yeah, Michael McAster is as much that character, I think, as Mary Holland. But what Mary Holland does for it is excellent. She's really, really good.
Yes. Their banter back and forth.
It's excellent.
It's so good. And
so the only real notes that I took for this were just some quotes. And they were all either from Ahmed Best or Mary Holland, like to Ahmed Best. And they've always got their quippy bit in between the first and second challenge. Like there's a something or other. But the first one that got me, it was early on in the first challenge on the first episode, and it was the kid. They're trying to do the pole thing, and the kid's leaning over backwards because he's got the weighted backpack and stuff. And Ahmed Best, just really dryly, the camera cuts to him, and he sort of almost like mean mugs the camera, and he's like, "Use the force of your core." And then the sister or the partner like pulls the kid up. He's like, or have Janiyah lift you up. That works too. It's like, that's just great because it feels like he just thought of it on the spot. I don't know if it was a cut in that they did later or they were just on set and he's just like, this one works. Let's just have some fun with it.
Yeah, I can see them doing the majority of it just straight and having the kids play the game and then afterwards throwing in some of that commentary later.
I think so.
There was the one where I believe he says that the packs are empty, but he's using the force. He's using the force to add weight, which it's ridiculous because what an a-hole thing for an adult to do to children.
Yeah, it's the more you see it, the more you're like, and the way that was it AD is sort of almost teasing him. It's like, wow, how many times did it take you to pass your trials?
Yeah.
It's like, it's more than one though, wouldn't it? It's like, he might be a bit of a scrub. He might be a bit of a washout Jedi who's like been given this assignment just because it's like, well, we got to do something with him.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Maybe.
Because she does poke fun at him a lot. She talks about his age.
Yeah, that's the other quote I've got. Is like she says something about his age, and he's like, "I'm not that old." And he's like, "Well, statistically, you are over halfway through your lifespan."
Right.
I'm like, "Wow, that's rude."
and
kind of dark.
Yeah. Right. But it just adds to the sort of charm of the show because
it really does.
It's more than just. Because if you're just watching the kids do the stuff, it's not that entertaining. But when you have a commentary with Mary Holland, who I believe is UCB trained as well, and she was on Veep. She's been in a ton of stuff.
Oh, okay.
She played Jonah Ryan's girlfriend.
Comedy Bang Bang. Parks and Rec. Veep. Yeah. She's been around.
And their chemistry is perfect.
Yeah.
It's so spot on. Now I have a question. Now this is Kelleran Beq.
Yes.
Right. Last name Beq.
Yep.
Now this isn't the first time we've seen Ahmed Best play a human character, not a non-Jar Jar character. And the last time we saw that was in Attack of the Clones.
2 weeks ago when we watched Attack of the Clones.
Right. And he played
We're in the Beq verse.
Yeah. Ahmed Beq,
yep.
Which 100% related.
They've confirmed it as well. Like I think he's confirmed it. StarWars.com's confirmed it. It's like the characters are related. Yeah,
that's so great. I love it.
I wonder if Kelleran Beq knows Ahmed Beq, or if he was taken so young that he doesn't know any of his family.
Maybe. But I mean,
I don't think this show is concerned with deep lore.
Also, I don't know where this fits in any sort of timeline.
No, I assume. I mean, with Yoda doing a voice, I assume it's prequel era. But
I mean, he's not physically there.
He's not.
So it could be a forced projection.
Like so this could be far in the future. This Kelleran Beq was one of Rey's apprentices or something, maybe.
Or worked with Luke.
Oh, maybe. Maybe this is Luke's temple.
Yeah, whenever there's Jedi training, it could be. I mean, a forest planet. They don't say what the planet is.
No, they never mention any of the planets. Like the story sometimes drops some planet names, but
it could be Endor, maybe.
Maybe.
So that would probably lead us to believe.
I mean, it does look kind of like what's the planet that they're on in Rise of Skywalker at the beginning, where Leia is training Rey.
Oh, right. No idea.
That one. No
idea.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It looks
similar. It could be there. They did a smart thing with the Star Cruiser, the Jedi Star Cruiser that they're on. That ship, because I was looking it up, I was like, that looks familiar. That ship is in everything. That model of ship pops up in all different eras. It's in Rebels. It's in Clone Wars. It's been in books. It's been in prequel era stuff. It's been in sequel era stuff. And I believe it's the same model of ship that the Galactic Hotel is going to be based on.
That's what I was going to say. It reminded me of that. We get a couple of shots of it. Yeah. One on the planet, and then one flying to where the secret coordinates to the Jedi Temple is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that planet is either, but I do like that it's always the same footage.
Yep.
Which is fine, because that's how like TV shows used to be in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. You make the one asset and then use it over and over.
Right. And
if you need to, you can flip it and show it backwards.
I love it. Yes. And I love it as something where that's what the budget allowed. I like that they were able to do it, but I also like the fact that, we'll just reuse it every week because that's what they used to do. So I like it as an homage and as a budgetary thing, because that kind of the same shots every episode adds to that sort of charm of it being, a sort of lower budget Star Wars thing.
It just fits. So you and I can watch this with the nostalgia. Neither of us are kids. Neither of us have kids. So we're not going to be watching it with our kids. But I think a lot of the humor is there so that the parents can enjoy it as well.
Right.
Definitely. But we are big enough fans, and I know a lot of other Star Wars fans who have watched this just because it's Star Wars. Like they're not watching it really for the kids' content. We can watch it nostalgically as well because we watched these sorts of shows growing up.
Right.
Our kids today gonna be watching this and enjoying it for what it is.
So YouTube disabled the comments, so I don't know what the kids are thinking. But
probably for the best.
But it still shows the views.
Okay.
And the first episode has something like 1.5 million views.
Cool.
And then like the rest of them have like around 1 million, and they probably taper off. I don't know, but
I mean, even if that's fairly consistent, even for a few episodes, that's really good.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're looking for as far as numbers. Me and my wife were talking about this, and she said it, and I was thinking it. I'm like, why don't they put it on Disney Plus?
See, when they were advertising it, I assumed that it was going to be a Disney Plus thing.
Right.
I remember looking for it last summer and going, where is it? And then going, oh, wait, it's on the YouTube channel. It's like...
Right, which
I
is
guess
fine.
That makes it more accessible for everyone, but...
Right. But at the same time, I feel like if it's on Disney Plus, it'll be accessible to more people. Like, I feel like if you go to Disney Plus, there's not really a whole lot... There's not a whole lot of content under the Star Wars page.
No, it's
you have 11 movies. Yeah, Mandalorian,
5 shows, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's not like a ton of stuff. Like,
and they don't need to take it off YouTube channel. Like, leave it on there as well, so that people that don't have a Disney Plus subscription can watch it there. Cool, I think that's great. But yeah, just put it on there. It's another bit of content that they've clearly produced. Why wouldn't they have it on there as well?
10 whole episodes.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. With numbers like that, I would assume that it's done well enough for them to want to do more. Obviously, this came out last year. They weren't going to risk production of any more in the meantime. Right. So even if they had plans to, it's probably been put on hold until everything's cleared up a little bit more, which is good. Smart. Don't put anyone in any unnecessary risk. But it's one of those things that I hope they do get to do more. If nothing else, I hope that they get to do more for Ahmed Best, because he looks like he is having the best time doing this. Right. I think a lot of this show, like the origins of it with him in particular, seem to have come out of a few years ago when he was at Celebration. I think it was the first time that he'd done Celebration for a while. And he talked really openly and really candidly about the struggles that he went through in the 2000s. And how he was in a really, really dark place. And I think that the outpouring of love, it's why I love Celebration so much, because the outpouring of support and love that he got, and it was around the same time that Kelly Marie Tran was getting all the support that she got because of the backlash that she faced, which was so similar to Ahmed Best and to Jake Lloyd, who, like, put Jake Lloyd in this. Give Jake Lloyd something to do, like, in this. Right. I think that'd be great. And it's a nice thing to see the Star Wars community supporting these people that people who claim to be a part of this community treated so poorly for so long. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's what we stand for on this show. It's like, just forget all that hate. Just ignore all that hate. Celebrate the good stuff. This show isn't going to be for everyone. It's not made for us. Right. But we can watch it and appreciate it and go, this is awesome. And I am so happy for Ahmed Best to be doing this.
And it's super entertaining, and it's light on Star Wars. Yeah. But it's still Star Wars. And he is such a he's always like a part of the conversation. Unfortunately, it's mostly negative, but I've met the dude. The dude is super nice. He's like the nicest guy.
Always came across as so lovely. Like, even when, like, at the height of the prequel hatred, which we've mentioned a few times, seems to have cooled off and has gone the opposite direction now. Right. Which I hope eventually happens with the sequels as well. Because it just feels so similar. And I think it will. I think given time, given a next generation and stuff,
and
it will.
This whole Disney era, I've been hoping for a Jar Jar return. I feel like he was so important to the prequels. He was just, front and center in episode 1, and then his sort of but his storyline in episode 2 is the linchpin for the rest of the saga.
It really is. So going into some book stuff, like, he has popped up in the Disney era. It's book stuff. It's book stuff. And it's done well, but it's not a happy ending for the character.
Right. I do okay. We all know the Empire's bad. Yeah. And the Empire is like taking over the universe. I would love to see a story about Jar Jar coping with that. Because he clearly he thought he was doing what was best and what was right.
Absolutely.
And he was being manipulated. So well.
Completely.
And I want to see that explored.
So that's what this story, it's in one of the Aftermath books. It's just a short little vignette, and it's him back on Naboo after Return of the Jedi, and he's essentially a street performer. He's a clown, like, trying to entertain kids, but it goes into depth, and like, people are talking about him and how he feels immense guilt.
Right.
Like, he's taking it on himself. Like, he realizes what happened, and that if he traces it back, he's partially responsible. And it's like, he feels that guilt where it's just like, nah, dude, like, if it wasn't you, it was going to be someone else. But it just happened to be you.
How much would you love to see Ahmed Best with his history of Star Wars fans and where he was at in that headspace, and pouring that into the Jar Jar character, and feeling remorse and feeling great sadness, and him sort of kind of like dealing with that and overcoming it and coming out on top. Like,
that'd be lovely.
I mean, love it, and I don't know how you would do that. I
know where it fit, and you mentioned seeing Dex in the Obi-Wan series,
right?
If we got to see Jar Jar in the Obi-Wan series, maybe he has an interaction with Obi-Wan, and like, because we saw how excited he was to see Obi-Wan in episode 2. That big bear hug that he gives him at the start when he gets out of the elevator. I love that moment. I've always thought that was really sweet and charming, because it's like, he loves this guy. Like, Obi-Wan
another point for Attack
really
of the Clones.
Didn't like him in episode 1. At the beginning of episode 1, he was like, what is this thing? Like, he was so dismissive of him. And to see the love that Jar Jar had for him is, I'd be fine with it.
To see him visit, Jar Jar,
and at that point, like, you could have Jar Jar like feeling all guilty, disheveled, and whatever. And it's basically
and Obi-Wan talking him through it,
and it's Obi-Wan saying, "We are not out of this fight yet. There is still hope in the galaxy."
But just having a conversation with Jar Jar, a sincere conversation about his mistakes, and then Obi-Wan, talking about Anakin and the mistakes he made.
Similar sort of feeling.
And just, oh my God, I could watch a whole half hour of that.
I mean, can you imagine? It's like almost like a Tarantino or a Michael Mann sit down conversation in Heat. It's not De Niro and Pacino. It's Obi-Wan and it's Obi-Wan and Jar Jar sat at Dex's diner, having this conversation about how the guilt that they feel and the responsibility that they feel about everything that's gone wrong in the galaxy.
But Dex just closed up shop and said, lock the door behind you. And they're just sitting there with like one lamp on a table in the dark diner. Oh my God.
And he just comes over, like brings them drinks or whatever. And he doesn't need to do much. Like he's this guy's friend. Like he's just there. Oh yeah. That, I mean, if they want to do a swerve of an episode, just one episode where all it is, it's a box episode as well. Like it's, I mean, Obi-Wan walks in, he sits down at the diner table, and that is it for.
No, how about this? Obi-Wan walks in, goes up to Dex, and Dex just said he's been here all day, and he's sitting at the bar in the corner.
Yep. I'm sold. And like you could build the tension as well. Like you make it think like, oh my God, is he going to have an interaction with Vader? Is it going to be some Imperial officer? And maybe even, I love it. I'm into it. I'm so into this idea. Someone write this story. Like this isn't going to happen in the Obi-Wan series.
We're writing it now. Let's.
I mean, I want someone to script it. I want it to be performed. I want voice actors. If we can't get this filmed, I want to see it animated or something.
Oh, just sing Jar Jar saying I did this. Okay, so back to the show.
Back to this light kids show.
This what I think is great is that the producers and editors, first of all, they cast kids with the greatest names.
Oh yeah.
They're not just like John and Jane. It's like Bryce and Dodge, which makes it great
There was a brother and sister who were like Dodge and something else. I was like,
right,
that's great.
But the best is in the Jedi Temple challenge at the end when you have Sam Witwer playing this evil Sith saying,
calling him out by name.
Yes, very creepily, like, your heart's not in this, Bryce.
It's weird because like obviously we were saying about Frank Oz probably just did his he just did 10 in one recording session at the end. Fine, easy. But it's almost like Witwer was on set like talking into a mic because they're reacting to what he's saying.
But hearing the most earth sounding names from that, and it could be from just Witwer
basically doing his Emperor voice.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could be very much a producer just doing it, and then they got Witwer after.
Yeah, but I mean, just hearing him taunt the children with their very earthly voices, you like, it's almost like it doesn't belong in Star Wars, but it's really, really, really funny. It's really funny.
It's great, and I mean, I like you go through it, and you're just like, all right, so they were Padawans and now they're Jedi Knights, but like they weren't apprenticed to anyone. Like if they were going from younglings to being now Padawans, then maybe sure. But like again, like it's stuff like that just doesn't matter.
But they're not dressed in the Jedi robes, which I very much appreciate. We've talked about this several times. We don't like the Jedi robes because it just looks like Tatooine garb. But they also don't have the braids.
No, exactly. So they're going from younglings to being Padawans, if anything. But giving them their robes at the end plays into what we were saying, where it's like, have the robes, but have them be like their ceremonial, formal dress wear. So they're not going to have them at the start. They got to earn their robes, which is fine.
There's a bit where they connect the kids via like a headset.
Yeah.
And
when they're 3 feet away from each other.
But they're whispering because they don't want the other teams to hear the answers. But then also like they catch every single sort of reaction and every single line that they're telling each other to pump themselves up, and it's hilarious. I love that the producers and editors really focus on these. Okay, you got this. You got this.
we can do this. We can do this. Shake it off. Don't worry, we'll be fine. And it's like, it's so earnest. Like these kids are so in it, and it's like that. I think is a testament to the production, because they must make it so much fun for these kids on set.
There was one episode. I think it was the third episode that we watched, episode 3, where the kids looked like they were gonna throw up from the pressure. And I'm like, this is hilarious.
And that was something else that I really appreciated in the second one. Like, the kids don't win.
Right.
There's no winner. And I was like, oh, cool. This show is not going to sugarcoat and just be like, oh, we'll give you some more time. It's like, nope, sorry, go back to training.
Yeah.
It's like, brilliant.
The timer doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, I don't understand how much time they have.
It's
so almost as if arbitrary. Like their production's watching them going like, oh my god, they're taking
too long.
Next one.
And also, like those kids used the dark side to cheat their way through a challenge. So it's like, no, don't. You cheated.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
So
the garbage masher. The garbage masher I love because it's filled with foam. Yeah, just like the old classic Kenner trash compactor toy that you screwed with the little Dianoga in it. That I guarantee you is a detail taken from that. I get that's a homage to that.
Like, you can it's on StarWars.com. There's a list of like 20 references.
Oh really?
That's one of them that they shout out. It's like, yep, no, that is specifically from that toy.
I love the saber shrine. Mm-hmm. They stick the lightsaber in the table. And then it lights up straight out of Galaxy's Edge.
I was going to say that's straight out of Galaxy's Edge, isn't it? And the kyber crystals that they get are the same kyber crystals, I believe, aren't they?
I think they might be different. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because the ones look kind of plasticky.
Okay.
At
the Galaxy's Edge ones. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But these look a little more crystally, but I have no idea. And I noticed that the lightsabers they built aren't exactly the ones from Galaxy's Edge, because the ones from Galaxy's Edge are a little bit complex to put together. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone's interested in this. I recorded, I think, like 20 minutes of the whole ceremony front to back when my wife built her lightsaber.
I mean, I want to see it.
So I'll probably put that up on liveactionstarwars.com. And then if I'll take a look at it, I'll piece it together. And if it's a little, she kind of takes a while to put her. I mean, you want to get it right. But it was like, but it's a lot of this piece and this piece. No, hold on. Okay, this piece, but with this one on it and this one over. No, well, maybe if I put this one on top. And so it's definitely you don't. It's a little bit of that.
Like you saying that, I'm really glad, because like I've not been, but as soon as I can, I'm looking forward to going and doing it all. I'm just gonna, spend all the money and do all the things. But like I didn't want it to be just as simple as it is in this show. Like I wanted it to be a little bit more of a thing.
Yeah.
And like it's all the customizable options and everything. I like all of that.
So if I'll take a look at the footage, and then maybe I will
see what you can do with it. Maybe
could do a running commentary on the slower bits, but we'll see. I like the design of AD.
Yeah, 88's cool.
Which is pretty cool.
Is it a droid type that we've seen before? Or is it just similar? Let's have a look.
Similar. It looks like a basic protocol droid. The head kind of looks like CZ4PO. A little bit. Is that the droid, the blue droid from Force Awakens?
Force Awakens, yes. Yeah. It's similar. Yeah.
And then LX-R5.
Yeah.
Which doesn't look like it spells anything like a chopper.
So I know that 80 was they both were. This was on StarWars.com when I was looking at it earlier. They're both, the names are homages to people, I think. So like AD is Eddie, I think Eddie something or other is one of the kids or godkids or nephews of one of the creators. And I think LX-R5 is something similar.
Like an Alex.
It's Alex. I think it is an Alex, yeah.
Okay. I like the color scheme of LX-R5, the yellows. It's cool.
Doesn't really do much other than something with the Meluron fruit that we don't know about. But the other quote that I've got here is it's from AD, and it's just I need to go grab a Meluron for LX, and Master Beck's just like, well, what's he gonna do with it? He's a droid, and he's like, oh, I don't think you want to know. It's like, whoa, this show's going to some weird places, I think. But okay.
I had two things Flash Gordon related.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're necessary. Well, first of all, one of the producers of the show has the last name of Beebe, Beebe, which there was the producer or director of the first two Flash Gordons was Ford Beebe. So I don't know if they're related. That would be cool. And then there's in the Jedi Temple, in the challenge, there is a light bridge, which happens in Flash Gordon's trip to Mars. Doubt it's an homage to Flash Gordon, but
that light bridge reminded me of something else, and I think it's another one of these shows, but it would have been a UK based one. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't Funhouse. It was probably something on
not Finders Keepers. They what's funny is when they're doing that light bridge, they're balancing on the ball, which looks like a pogo ball. You remember?
Yeah, it does.
Did you have pogo balls from the 80s, 90s? Totally Nickelodeon era.
I mean, those things still appear in gyms. Like, you still find those things all over the place, those sort of balance boards.
So there was stuff like that. There was stuff like that where it's like, oh, that reminds me of a pogo ball. Instantly put me in 1989 mode.
I'll tell you what, some of the kids, like, it's funny seeing how good they are at some things and how bad they are at some things. Because, like, some of these kids, their balance is, like, perfect straight away. They can hop on one of those things and they just stand there like it's nothing. And others really struggle with it. And it's like, that's cool to see. And the same with the bouncing to get the fruit and then get the other thing. It's like, there's a big height difference with some of these kids, which I think is always really interesting. But I was also really impressed by some of the kids were like, if they couldn't reach it fully, like, they'd bounce and they'd grab it and they'd pull themselves up. I'm like, that's impressive, kid. Like, well done.
like this, even as an adult, and you could see the like budgetary constraints of the show, and you can see how things are, kit bashed. It means so much to the kids, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And that's what gives you the charm. That's what makes you so excited for the show, is you're just like, you have to root for these kids. Definitely. They want it so bad.
That's just the level of earnestness that this show has. And it's one of those things, like, we've all seen the cutaway interviews of every reality show ever, and they always feel really forced and horrible and just gross, because they're always done after the fact. Whereas these kids, when they're talking about how, like, oh yeah, like, we were doing this challenge and I just didn't know if we were going to do it, but we pulled through together. We did it. And I was like, I believe that these kids, I don't think they're being fed this stuff. They're being asked, like, what did you think in this moment of this challenge?
Right.
But I believe that these kids are just so into it that they are wanting to do that. And
I like those interviews on, like, the sort of holocron.
Yes, done well. Yeah.
They're really fun. And it's little kids. It's little kids who've seen. What's that?
There's not too many of them. Like there's one every now and then, like one for each team for each challenge, basically.
But the kids are definitely talking as if they've seen this 100 times on other competition shows, and say they know what to say, and they know to say, it was really fun, and we worked hard as a group, but the other team, they were just so good. Like, it's all positive. And
yeah, even when the team has beaten another team, they always they give a bit of a compliment. It's like, oh yeah, she's really fast, but we took our time and we were attention to detail, and it's like still complimenting the other ones, but they're like, yeah, but we're better, but in a nice way.
Yeah. But I like at the beginning also when they're introducing the teams, how they're sort of like smack talking and like they're trying to we're going to get this because we're bigger than them and we're tough. It's like
they're hyping each other up.
And the producers are like, that's hilarious. That's going in. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Like, it's not the spirit of the show to say I'm better, but these kids are adorable and they're hilarious. And
it's when you've got 9-year-olds saying that we've been best friends for our entire lives. I'm like, oh, kid, like, I can't even remember 9 years ago.
I can't say enough about the show. I don't know if I have much more to say about the show.
Yeah. It was when I started watching it, I was like, this is something that I'll watch for this, and I probably won't watch anymore. But if I'm just want to throw on something really easy breezy, I don't know, while I'm cleaning the house or something, like, I'd chuck on an episode of this anytime. And
more Ahmed Best and Mary Holland, like, that's
absolutely
all I want.
Those two are so good. And just more Becks. Like, even if he's not playing Kelleran Beq or Ahmed Beq, like, just have him play various Becks in different situations across the Star Wars universe.
I was watching Time Bandits this week. I love Time Bandits, and there's the Michael Palin and Shelley Duvall characters. Like, they're lovers, but they're lovers through different time periods. So that would be the Becks. I feel like
I'd love it.
It's like they're like the Antilles of
that's it. Like,
pop up.
There's just always one around. You hear the name thrown around, and they're always in interesting situations. Whether
they could be clones, they could be relatives. They just pop up. If Walrus Man and Dr. Evazan could pop up in Rogue One, Becks can pop up all over the place.
Yep. One of a Beq Maz's castle. Definitely. There's definitely got to be a Beq there.
Definitely.
And playing cards with Lando.
Right. And Jackson.
That'd be great. Yeah. Or maybe he's a contact of Lando's in the Lando show that he's got to go to. Right. And he's just hanging out with Jackson. And his droid companions.
Yeah. It's great. I'm glad it exists. I want more of it. Hopefully, once the pandemic's over, we can get more of it.
That'd be nice.
I hope that's the only thing that's tying it up for more seasons.
More Star Wars content for different age groups and for different demographics. Like, there should be Star Wars doesn't need to be for people in their 30s and 40s who grew up watching it. It can be for kids.
And also, the most important thing is, like, Star Wars doesn't have to be dead serious. No. It guys, they're movies. If you don't like it, you don't have to feel offended. You don't have to, like...
You don't have to watch it.
Be mad.
It's not taking away the stuff that you like.
Not at all.
It's all still there.
Not at all. And this is just 22 minutes of joy.
Yeah. It really
10 episodes of it. It's, like the other kid stuff, like maybe your droid cartoons, Ewok cartoons, Ewok adventures. They might feel outdated and a little bit slow paced and a little awkward. This is just really well done, fun stuff for kids. It's
the sort of show that
counter programming.
I don't know if this sort of show exists on Nickelodeon or Disney Channel or anything anymore. I don't watch those channels, but I don't think that they're as prevalent as they were when you and I were kids.
Right.
They don't seem to be. It feels like they've sort of were taking a punt with this, going, remember those sorts of shows? Why did that go away? They're brilliant. They're easy to make. Once you've got the sets, they're easy to cheap to produce.
And then with, like, you have to have kids watching. They're watching competition shows. I know they're watching Nailed It on Netflix and Lava is a Floor and Wipeout.
Oh yeah, Floor is Lava.
Stuff like this. There's no. why isn't there stuff for kids?
Yeah.
So this should be put on Disney Plus, and it should spearhead a whole new wave of kids. Just not even Star Wars kids, just a whole new, kids television.
I mean, yeah, make one of these for the Marvel universe. Put that in the Marvel section on Disney Plus as well. Like, it's so easy to do. Like Avengers Academy, basically. Like, just have that.
Right.
It's right there.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely. Monsters Academy, have them do a Monsters Inc. thing.
Yeah.
So many options. So many options.
It seems like the budget for this is pretty modest.
Yeah.
You got to be making something off of it.
Yeah.
1.5 million viewers on YouTube can't be wrong. It's not even, I don't even know if Star Wars Kids is a huge sort of following. They should put this on Star Wars, regular StarWars.com. They need to put it on Disney Plus. I want more. I definitely want more. I'm going to go watch the other 10 episodes, and then we'll see what they give us. But I think it's so much fun. There's so much dire, serious Star Wars content.
Yep.
It's nice to just kick back and laugh.
If you've got kids and you like Star Wars, chuck it on. I guarantee they'll be enthralled. If you don't have kids and you like Star Wars, chuck it on. You'll probably have some fun with it. Right. And if you don't, so be it. What harm was it? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about our next episode.
What are we doing, Ralph? It's your turn.
Put a lot of thought into this. This show was designed with a certain purpose. We wanted to cover live action Star Wars shows.
Yeah.
And we got a lot coming up. Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian 3, Ahsoka, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Andor, Lando.
Obi-Wan.
And I figured we will eventually have a section for The Mandalorian.
Yep.
And we'll cover those weekly when season 3 comes out. But we've kind of already passed 2 seasons of Mandalorian, which haven't been covered on this show. So what I'm proposing, our next episode being a season 1 recap of Mandalorian.
Into it.
So we're gonna start up our Mandalorian discussion. I've on my personal podcast YouTube page, I did audio podcasts of every episode of Mandalorian individually, but I want to talk about it here with James, and I figured we'll do a season 1 recap. Start one episode. What is it? 1 through 8? Are there 8 episodes?
I think it's 8 in
10
seasons.
I don't even remember.
I think it was so 8 long. And 8. I think it's 8 and 8.
It's 8 and 8. So, we'll cover those first 8, and it'll just be our season 1 Mandalorian recap.
Love it.
And then what I'm going to do is give you the second season whenever you feel like talking about it.
Okay.
I will not pick it, and that'll be yours to
cool.
To choose.
We will, and I will say right now, we will get to it before season 3. We'll get to it before the Book of Boba Fett, so that we're caught up on the live action shows. So that when we do, because when Book of Boba Fett comes out, we will be doing this show will go weekly. We will be covering that week to week.
We'll cover it weekly. We'll stop doing this nonsense of what we've been doing every other week.
And I mean, that's that going forward. As long as the live action shows will stay sort of similar to the Marvel model, where I mean, there's only a few weeks in between every Marvel show. Right. If the Star Wars shows ramp up to a point where there's only a few weeks in between, then we will just become a weekly show where we're covering the new episodes. And then if there's maybe a month in between the shows, we might throw in one of these. We might cover a movie or something in there. Yeah. But before the Book of Boba Fett in December, we will have covered both seasons of Mandalorian. But in 2 weeks' time, we will be covering season 1.
Season 1.
It's exciting. I haven't rewatched season 1 in a while. I'm going to do the whole lot.
Yeah, I think I will too. Should be easy enough. Yeah. I like Baby Yoda.
Exactly. And rewatching it through the eyes of what we know from season 2 is something that I haven't done yet either.
Yeah. You'll be able to catch that at Star Wars. No. Wait, what does it say? LiveActionStarWars.com. And you can also visit Live Action SW to catch everything else. And until next time, may the Force be with you.
Punch it.